normal people at home who don't care about this woman at all are looking at her like, I don't like her. And so the more time we got to spend with Blake Lively, the less we liked her. Had 2 minutes of bad publicity when the film hit to come out and try to blame it all on him. None of it was just due to the fact that she seems like a rather person. And then he managed to convince Blake Lively to star in it with him, and all hell broke loose. She claims he's her, and then by the time they premiered the movie, they weren't even speaking to each other. She made him stay in the base.
Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
Oh
my God. Sure, thank you. What I hear is that it's not just Blake, it's Anna. The fact, yes, they hate each other. They hate each other. And from what I'm hearing, the sequel was a nightmare. A nightmare is what I heard. Was the word chosen.
Ryan several years ago. So I met Blake a few times through Ryan on that film.
Got it.
And, and thought she seemed nice, and little did I know.
Yeah.
Well, now that it's a function on Twitter and Instagram, there's a couple people that I have muted.
Good.
I think it means that America Ferrara is no longer supporting Blake Lively. He was slamming Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. He basically said that they effed up.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, they are petty, spiteful bullies.
You're probably doing that Hollywood thing where everybody else is just there for you.
Any words for Ryan, seeing as the next time we talk to him, he will be seeing that.
I have nothing to say to him.
What's it going to take for him to actually be BFFs with you?
There was a time in which we were.
Oh, wow.
And I saw a text and it says, I want to talk to you. And I was like, I hate this guy.
What was great about Deadpool is they covered up his handsome face because he's so distracting. He must know this, but it's so distracting to look at him, and guys don't want to laugh at him.
I call him a sociopath. I mean, I think that he wants to win no matter what. He was willing to do whatever it takes to win. He didn't care who he stepped on.
All because Ryan is not happy with who he is on the inside. That's really what it comes down to. He is not an honest person with himself. And so he's just become a very vicious person who's lashing out in a variety of ways.
Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard? They just couldn't quite wrap their heads around how we would resurrect this iconic and legendary character after a masterpiece like Logan, the movie Logan. And I said, who cares about a masterpiece?
Ryan Reynolds allegedly went psychotic.
He doesn't seem like that great of a man.
He's not great. No, he's not, not good at the job. Spineless, just a human jellyfish. Yeah.
Well, Ryan Reynolds on the Enneagram is a psycho. That's what he is. He's just a psycho. His number is psycho.
And also, sometimes your life has been such a colossal series of failures that you want some symbolic reset.
Yeah.
I was hoping that he would bomb. And I remember thinking that, way to think that is.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That he's a narcissist. He's a total narcissist. He cannot comprehend a world. I truly believe he cannot comprehend a world in which him and his wife are not liked.
What's up, people? Caleb here. Welcome back to Caleb Speaks. Today we're diving into something wild. Hollywood's perfect couple, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, are getting ditched by literally everyone around them. I'm not talking about random Twitter drama or stan wars. A-list celebrities, industry players, and even their own family members are jumping ship faster than I skip YouTube ads. So what happened? This isn't just some little disagreement or creative differences on the It Ends With Us set with Justin Baldoni. We're talking alleged manipulation, legal threats, and intimidation tactics that finally exposed what people in Hollywood have apparently been whispering about for years. Let's break down this entire mess, starting with how it all began. Their love story kicked off on the set of Green Lantern back in 2010. But here's the thing most people forget. Reynolds was still married to Scarlett Johansson at that time. Officially, Johansson initiated the split, citing those classic conflicting work schedules. But multiple sources suggest she suspected something deeper was happening. The chemistry between Reynolds and Lively during promotional interviews was impossible to miss. And several insiders have suggested their connection formed while Reynolds was still wearing a wedding ring. Just months after his divorce was finalized, finalized, Reynolds and Lively were spotted together, and boom, they're officially a couple. This left Johansson reportedly feeling blindsided by how quickly he moved on. The timing here raises some serious questions about potential overlap, and it sets the stage for the pattern we're seeing today. Fast forward to now, and we're seeing probably the biggest blow to their perfect image. Taylor Swift, you know, the woman Blake once literally called one of her dragons. Their friendship seemed unbreakable, right? Taylor even used Blake and Ryan's kids' names in her songs. That's next level friendship goals, or at least it was. According to multiple sources, Blake apparently weaponized Taylor's name without her permission, using Swift as leverage against Baldoni during their production drama. It gets worse. Blake allegedly invited Taylor to her penthouse for what Taylor thought was just a casual hangout about the film, but it was actually an ambush setup to confront Baldoni. Imagine using your supposed best friend like that. Not cool. Swift's response was pure Taylor, subtle but absolutely devastating. She reportedly cut Blake from her Super Bowl guest list. In celebrity world, that's basically announcing to everyone, we're done here. The silence between them since has been deafening. No more cute Instagram posts, no more public support. Taylor's smart enough to know when a friendship becomes toxic, and she's backing away without making a huge scene. But this pattern of behavior didn't start with the Baldoni situation. Throughout his career, Reynolds has built quite the reputation on set. During the filming of Blade Trinity back in 2004, the tension between him and Wesley Snipes was legendary. Reynolds wasn't exactly the villain in this story, but his constant improvising and off-camera jokes apparently drove Snipes to the breaking point. Things got so bad that Snipes reportedly refused to directly interact with Reynolds, communicating with the director through post-it notes instead. When asked about the feud later, Snipes was notably evasive, implying Reynolds' style of humor wasn't something he personally connected with. One of the most shocking revelations came from his own Deadpool co-star TJ Miller. In 2022, Miller revealed that Reynolds was incredibly mean to him during filming. Apparently, while in character as Deadpool, Reynolds made some cutting remarks suggesting Miller's role was basically insignificant to the main storyline. Miller was so put off by the experience that he expressed reluctance to ever work with Reynolds again, and seemed genuinely confused by Reynolds' apparent dislike of him. Even the Jersey Shore stars had a disappointing encounter. After attending a taping where Reynolds was a guest, they simply asked for a quick photo through their publicist. Not only was the request shot down, but when Reynolds spotted them as he exited, he literally raised his hand to block his face and completely avoided eye contact. Years later on Watch What Happens Live, they publicly called him out, making it clear that Reynolds had treated them poorly despite them being fans of both him and Lively. Getting back to the current drama, Colleen Hoover, the author whose book started this whole thing, initially was all in on Blake, calling her casting a dream come true and hyping her up to fans everywhere. Fast forward a few months, and Hoover's actions speak volumes. In what I can only call a digital purge, Hoover deleted 32 posts mentioning Blake, unfollowed her across platforms, and even temporarily deactivated her entire Instagram. That's not just I need space energy, that's I want nothing to do with this person ever again. What drove such a drastic reaction? When Justin Baldoni started dropping receipts showing Blake's alleged behavior, Hoover couldn't keep pretending to support her. And guys, there are rumors floating around, solid ones, not conspiracy theory stuff, that Hoover is considering legal action against Blake and Ryan. Apparently, Blake made huge promises about turning more of her books into movies, giving Hoover more creative control, more opportunities, all stuff that never materialized. When the actual author whose work made the project possible erases you from her digital existence, you've got serious problems. Blake's professional reputation seems equally problematic as her husband's. Armie Hammer's brief stint on Gossip Girl as Lively's love interest apparently left him wanting to get as far away as possible. While Hammer never explicitly named Lively as the issue, he described his experience as challenging and hinted at difficulties with certain cast members. As the show's biggest star, Lively's dominant presence both on and off set allegedly created major friction, especially during their romantic scenes together. Hammer left after just a few episodes, and his reluctance to name names only fueled speculation about his difficult time working with Lively. But the most revealing conflict has to be with Anna Kendrick. Their tension became almost impossible to hide during press events. When asked about working with Blake during a junket, Kendrick's terse response about Blake being beautiful said it all. If you've seen their joint appearances, you can't miss the awkward body language. Kendrick looking visibly uncomfortable while Lively dominates conversations. Sources tell me the feud began during filming of A Simple Favor in 2018. Initially, Kendrick had only met Lively a few times through Reynolds and thought she seemed nice enough, but on set, Lively reportedly refused to just read her lines and act like everyone else. She insisted on having input on costume design, writing, and literally every other aspect of the project. Things got even worse when they reunited for the sequel. There was apparently a huge fight over top billing in the credits, with Lively demanding her name be featured prominently despite Kendrick receiving top billing in the original film. After weeks of back and forth, they settled on what's called staggered billing in Hollywood, but neither of them was happy about it. The irony here is just too perfect. Blake Lively, star of The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, a movie literally about unbreakable female friendship, is watching her real-life sisterhood completely fall apart. America Ferrera, who posted a super supportive Blake tribute in December, has now pulled that post from her main grid. It still exists if you dig through tags, but she deliberately removed it from her profile. That's the 2024 equivalent of taking down your friend's photo from your fridge. Similarly, Amber Tamblyn still technically has her supportive post online, but hidden from her main feed. Basically the Instagram version of avoiding eye contact at a party. These weren't just random co-stars from years ago. These were Blake's ride or dies for almost 2 decades, through career highs, personal milestones, everything. When women who once represented the ultimate female friendship squad start quietly backing away, it says something serious about what they might have seen behind closed doors. The Justin Baldoni situation is what finally blew the lid off everything. In early 2025, Baldoni dropped a $400 million lawsuit against the couple and their publicist, accusing them of defamation and civil extortion. The mess started with Lively claiming Baldoni had improvised intimate scenes during filming without proper discussion or an intimacy coordinator present. She also alleged he tried to add graphic content not in the original script, but Baldoni's countersuit tells a completely different story. He frames the whole thing as a power struggle for creative control rather than misconduct. Text messages included in the suit showed Lively initially praising Baldoni's work before allegedly bringing in Reynolds and even Taylor Swift as trusted partners to rewrite scenes. In a later red carpet interview, Lively actually admitted Reynolds had written new scenes, essentially pushing Baldoni's creative input aside. Things apparently got so heated that Reynolds allegedly berated Baldoni in front of other celebrities during production, an incident so inappropriate that a Sony representative later apologized for not stepping in, and Reynolds couldn't leave it alone. He apparently mocked Baldoni in Deadpool, creating a character called Nice Pool with obvious similarities to the director. When Baldoni's team asked Reynolds to stop with the jokes, he completely ignored them. Even family support is crumbling, which really tells you something. Blake's brother-in-law Bart Johnson, married to her sister Robin Lively, initially came out guns blazing, posting these weird cryptic messages that were obviously targeting Baldoni with thinly veiled references to performative man buns and stuff like that. But then receipts started dropping and legal documents surfaced. Suddenly Johnson's tone completely changed. He deleted his most inflammatory posts and started backpedaling hard, claiming his comments weren't directed at any individual, which is hilarious because the timing and content made it obvious who he was talking about. The craziest part, Johnson reportedly admitted he had been misled about the whole situation. Think about that. He's basically saying Blake and Ryan fed him false information that made him go to bat for them publicly. When your own family starts realizing they've been manipulated by you and publicly backs away, that's next level bad. This might be my favorite part of the whole saga. Scarlett Johansson, yep, Ryan Reynolds' ex-wife, just signed on to direct a new film called Eleanor the Great. Guess who's funding it? Wayfarer Studios, Justin Baldoni's production company. The timing couldn't be more obvious. After years of keeping quiet about her marriage to Reynolds, Johansson is making her position crystal clear without saying a single word about her ex-husband. She's professionally partnering with the exact person Blake and Ryan allegedly tried to destroy. That's not coincidence, that's calculated. This gets even juicier when you remember the rumors about how their relationship began. The timing of Green Lantern filming and Reynolds' subsequent divorce definitely raised some eyebrows. Now, years later, Scarlett's getting the last laugh by aligning herself with Team Baldoni. Chess, not checkers. It's not just friends and family jumping ship. Even the professional relationships Blake and Ryan built over years are disintegrating. Penn Badgley, Blake's Gossip Girl co-star and ex-boyfriend, has unfollowed her and is now following Baldoni. This is a guy who generally stays out of drama, lives by his Baha'i faith principles, commercials, and even had Blake on his podcast not that long ago. For him to publicly pick a side like this says a lot about who he believes is telling the truth. But the most telling exit? Personal trainer Don Saladino. This man knew Blake and Ryan at their most unfiltered moments. Sweaty, no makeup, probably complaining about everything. After years as their fitness guru, Saladino has completely scrubbed them from his brand, removed all content with Blake, unfollowed both of them, and reportedly even shared content mocking Ryan. When your trainer, someone whose entire career depends on discretion and neutrality, takes these kinds of steps, it suggests he's seen some seriously problematic behavior. What we're seeing isn't just a bad news cycle that will blow over in a few weeks. This is the complete collapse of a carefully constructed public image. Blake and Ryan spent years positioning themselves as Hollywood's perfect couple. Funny, gorgeous, successful, and somehow still relatable despite being absurdly privileged. That facade has completely shattered. What's being revealed underneath isn't pretty. Manipulation, intimidation, and an apparently toxic need for control. Their industry exile isn't happening because of one mistake, but because the patterns of behavior exposed through the Baldoni situation match what many people have apparently experienced for years. Hollywood isn't canceling Blake and Ryan, it's finally exposing them. The industry has made its choice, and the message couldn't be clearer. No amount of perfect Instagram posts can hide the truth forever. In an industry built on illusion, authenticity still matters. Multiple celebrities are now expressing serious concerns about working with the couple, fearing they'll get caught up in similar drama. From Reynolds' on-set conflicts to Lively's controlling approach to projects, the pattern is becoming impossible to ignore. When literally everyone in your orbit, from your best friends to family members to professional contacts, starts distancing themselves at the same time, no PR team in the world can spin that away. The real question now isn't whether Blake and Ryan can save their image, but whether they'll ever recognize what destroyed it in the first place. That's it for today, peeps. If you found this breakdown interesting, hit that like button and subscribe to Caleb Speaks for more honest takes on what's really happening in Hollywood. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you think about this whole situation. Has your opinion of them changed after hearing all this? Peace out.